Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to my presentation, which is Level Up Your Culture. My name is Tomek. I work in Wrocław in Poland, as it was said, at Ocado Technology, where I'm a software development manager. What I do on an everyday basis, I look after a couple of teams, software development teams, and I try to give them all they need so they can work efficiently, and the people that are in these teams are truly happy, because as we've heard today, happy employees, happy people are the best employees. So, probably you don't know Ocado, and I don't want to advertise it, but I want to give you a few words what we do to give you a context, because I want to share some practices we have at Ocado, and I would like you to have the context so you can understand why we made this decision. So Ocado is an online grocery supermarket. In general, we sell food, simply. But we don't have any physical stores. We do this online. And all the orders are fulfilled, are completed in our automated warehouses, and they are delivered to our customer's door. And Ocado Technology is part of Ocado, which is delivering all the IT solutions for Ocado itself and for our external clients. What is more, I don't want to give you like a regular presentation today. I want to play a game. And those of you who watched some horror movies probably recognize this quote from the Saw movie. Clicker's not working. Now should be better. Okay, so you probably recognize this from the Saw movie, but this game was horrifying, right? And we are not going to play anything like this. What I want to propose for today is a much nicer, much more pleasant game, and I hope when we complete it, you will feel a little, at least a bit inspired to try something at your organizations when you come back home. So, if you are ready, I think we can hit the start button and play our game. As the title is Level Up Your Culture, and if you ever play the games on your phone, for example, you know that there are levels that you need to complete. And it won't be a board game. It will be something rather like Angry Birds. So we will have our levels. And we will pass them one by one, talking about different areas, exploring them, and hopefully we'll pass all the 5 levels and win the game in the end. So, our first level. It's kind of a lava land, a volcano land, definitely hot one, and a lot of things are going on in here. So I named this level, I called it, at first, there was fire. But we won't be talking about firing, don't worry, and we won't be talking about fire itself. But we'll be talking about something which is hot, which is happening in our organizations, and this is hiring. First, we need to hire people to have the organization, right? And first, I want to ask you a question, just to make you think a little bit. What does your recruitment process look like? Do you focus mainly on skills, on experience of the person you want to hire? Or you're looking also, what is this person's mindset? How this person fit the organization culture? What are this person's values that he thinks are important? Because for me, the second part, I believe, is even more important than the first one. Because these hard skills, the technical skills, this is something which you can easily learn. But it's not that easy to change the mindset. And why it's important? Because you recognize probably this place. This is obviously the home of The Simpsons. And what is the place we call home? What it is? This is a place where we feel good. This is the place where we can relax. This is the place where we feel safe. If this is such a place, you don't let the bad guys in. And we should do the same with our organizations. We shouldn't let the bad guys in who can destroy our environment, destroy our culture. And believe me, even one wrong recruitment decision can be a huge cost for the organization in the long term, because one person can be half of your organization. Just like me. When I joined Ocado at Wrocław, I was among one of 2 first hired people. I was half of the organization. If I was a recruitment mistake, in short words, if I was a jerk, half of the organization would be a jerk. Would you like to work in a place that half of the people are jerks? Come on. So this might be a huge cost if you make a wrong decision here. But it's obvious, we know that recruitment is super important. And I want to focus today on one particular part of recruitment, and this is recruiting leaders. Recruiting leaders is hard. And I couldn't resist to put this meme here. Hello, is it leads you're looking for? Yes, definitely. It's so hard to find good leaders. It's so hard to find the people who has right skills and right mindset and share the right values, understand the same culture. It's hard. So, basing on my experience, recruiting a leader, recruiting a manager from my previous organizations, from the people I talked with, usually looks like that. This is how it's usually done. If you want to recruit a manager, what do you need? Well, you need another manager. And it's not that easy. It cannot be a regular manager, right? Because we are hiring a manager already. It has to be some super smart, greatest, the smartest, the biggest, the highest in the priorities list, pyramid, whatever you call it. I would like to call it an Uber manager. This is the super Uber manager. And these guys talk with the candidate, and he thinks, that's the guy. I like him. He hires, comes back to the team, and everyone expects, especially this guy, this Uber manager, the team will be like, wow, he hired such a great person for us. But the truth is that it doesn't work that way. And plenty of people I know left their organization because their manager was turning their life into a pain. We know what is the problem with that? Then when Uber manager is hiring someone, he actually, for him, it's not a big change. This is yet another subordinate he has to work with. And the most affected in entire this hiring new manager is the team. Because for the boss, again, this is just yet another guy he works with. For the team, this is the boss. This is the guy who is shaping their world. This decision can turn lives of the team upside down. So they are most affected, yet they are not involved in the recruitment process. And we've seen that this is a problem. We kind of noticed it at Ocado. So what we started to do, we introduced something which I've heard is called mob hiring. Internally, we simply call it interview by the team. By the way, this is a picture from Flash Mob in Warsaw. So we have this interview by the team. What it means, if we have a candidate for any leadership position, we set a team interview as a first stage for every leadership position. If this is a team lead, dev manager, product owner, because product owners are also kind of leaders, they require these leadership skills. So this is the first stage for every leadership position. We take the candidate, the team comes, and they chat for an hour, hour and a half. And the goal in here is to see if there is chemistry between these guys. If this candidate for our manager, within this hour or 1.5, whatever, if he can build a relation with these people, if we can get their attention, and if they simply like this guy, if he can facilitate the discussion, and so on and so on. And question, does it work? For me, it works great. We have some first hires in this process. And when I've seen people engagement when hiring their own boss, they said, this is for us first time when we can decide who will be our manager. And it's great. And when this person was later on interviewed by other managers, not Uber maybe, but other managers, the people from the team were asking questions. We like this guy. How is he doing? And when this guy got hired, we bring him back to the organization. He meets the team. This is not a stranger brought from somewhere. This is their guy. They talked with him. They liked him. So they have the buy-in for this decision. And the guy has much easier start in the organization. So I think level 1, we can say it's completed. So let's move to level 2. Level 2 is a bit different, a bit rocky, and I called it hard rock induction. Because, okay, you hired, perfect, congratulations. Well, now what? We have another person on board, now what? And what happens in every organization when you get someone new? Well, you train this guy. You have the induction. And with this, we have small problem. Because this can be simply hard. Whenever I talked with people about their induction processes, usually they are not very happy about it because it was courses, learning, something boring, and stuff like this. Plus, when they join the company, they have to learn so many things. project, technologies, tools, processes. There's so much things. Only Ninja can deal with that, possibly. And what is worse, there is something more. There's one more thing that, in my opinion, people need to learn, and it's not the culture, as Ola and Rona were talking about. Obviously, it's important, and it's good that they said it, because I have in mind something different here. People need to learn the business. People need to understand what your company does, where the money comes from. This is another thing that people need to learn. And understanding this is essential. Because when people focus only on their project work, they don't have purpose, because they don't understand why this work is being done, who needs it, who uses it, how this influences the company as a whole. But this is important, but it's yet another thing to learn, so you have to be careful. I'm from the tech company, and have you ever seen a developer asked to learn the business? They hate it. It's not something that I'm super eager to learn. This is not something that, yes, let's learn business. They want to learn the project. Those are IT guys. They want to do, here's my keyboard, here I write code. This is all I need. The business is there. There are people who deal with that. I'm here. How to make these people interested? Especially that I told you there is so many things to learn that people can run away because there's simply too much of the information. There's too much going on. So, is it possible to instead of making people just look at the business on some courses, a learning, can we somehow make people touch our business? This is the question that we ask ourselves. And the answer turned out to be yes. And we introduced at Ocado something which is called job swaps. Job swap is a day any employee can take to work as someone else. And there are some possible options. A guy from the IT can spend a day in the warehouse, in our warehouse when the orders are fulfilled, where he picks the products and puts them into customer basket, when he loads these baskets on a van, when he picks the products from our suppliers and put them in the right place. He can spend a day there and work in a warehouse. The other option is he can go in our van for a day and drive around Great Britain and deliver the shopping. Obviously with the driver. But he can do it. He can go and go in a van around England and do this. Or there's another option. He can go to the call center, sit with one of our advisors with the headset, obviously without the microphone, and listen what are the issues that people have who are calling us. And they see how these issues are being solved, how software they write works, how it serves this guy who is the advisor. He doesn't have idea about the technology, but he uses these tools. So they can literally touch the business. Why we do it? Because as Benjamin Franklin said, tell me and I forget. Teach me and I may remember. Involve me and I will learn. And this is what we are willing to do. We are willing to involve people so they are actually learning our business. And people, when I'm doing this job swap, they get excited. They get so excited that they start to do stupid things, just like me here. I'm not a selfie guy. This was a mistake. And making it public was even more mistake, but I was too excited. Because I was going to ride a van around England. And it was so cool that I was doing this. And you know what? Now when I have new starters in my teams, I take them to Hatfield, where is our headquarters, and I encourage them to do the job swap because it's a great experience. And they do so. And then after this day on job swaps, when we meet at the pub, these guys, developers, geeks, whatever you think, these guys are like guys in Heineken commercial. They're like, oh, you know what I did today? Do you know that in the warehouse there's this? Do you know that the driver does this? And they're like, wow, super excited. And they are learning. They even don't know about it, but they are learning because they got involved. So does it work? Come on, I took myself a selfie, which was stupid. It works. Again, involving people, being open and giving them chance to involve and engage. It's increasing their motivation, it's fun, it's exciting, and people are willing to do this, and the organization has the benefits. So level 2, I think it's completed. So let's move to level 3. Level 3 is a jungle. Because, well, it's a jungle. This is why I called it, actually, well, welcome to the jungle. Because what happens? We hired, great. We trained, great. Now day-to-day work starts. People get involved into the projects, they start their everyday work, and they tend to focus, especially on this project work, on this work, their day-to-day goals. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with this. It's very good. It's their job. They should be focused on this. The thing is that there is so much more a part of our project. You know, when you have one team in one project, here you are. We are living in a complex world. Our organizations are constantly changing, evolving, living organisms. We are just a team. It's just a small part of this. But there are plenty of dependencies with other teams, other projects. And with all these dependencies, not only the project one, with so many dependencies, there is like plenty of other decisions that affect our teams every day. For example, recruitment, simply. If we have a team that is working all together on a project and you need to hire someone, depending on our recruitment process, depending maybe who is doing the technical interviews and any interviews, you actually can get someone to the team. From an organization perspective, this is just one more guy. From the team's perspective, this can be a huge change. Again, turning everything upside down, because this is new person. I'm not saying like pay reviews, how they are done, any HR decisions. They are affecting the teams, and they are outside of our project. And the thing we need to understand is that these decisions are made by someone, and we can think that they are a group of people simply, or we can treat them as a teams. And if you think about it, if you start treating all these informal, maybe semi-formal, more formal, less formal groups, if you start to think about these people as a teams, you will see that in your organizations, there are teams everywhere. And we kind of recognize this. We see that there are so many groups that are trying to make some decisions. Why just to treat them as a bunch of people? Let's treat them as a team. They are also a team, and they require to be treated as a team. They require to be given all we give to our regular project teams. So, examples of this, we introduced something which is called chapters. And those are not Spotify chapters. This is something different, because it was said that in Spotify, those are people who are having the same role. In here, chapter, you don't have to be in a specific role. You just want to contribute. That's it. They are mainly technical. So we have, for example, security chapter, and it has a purpose. The goal is to improve security of all our applications. We have quality chapter, which has the same purpose, but with quality, to improve it across the organization. We have microservice chapter, another chapter is Scala chapter, whatever. And I know what you may think. Not sure if all these chapters are not simply the community of practices, right? This is nothing new. In every organization, there's a community of practice where people share knowledge. And I'd say, no, for me, this is something different, because maybe I have the wrong experience with community of practice, but for me, COPs are not teams, because those are random people. They are coming or going. If the topic is interesting, they come. There are no relations between people. They don't have purpose. This is just like the purpose is to improve skills of every individual. There is no like common purpose that this particular group of people can be called a team and have a purpose so they can kind of make some change to make this goal achieved. And in the chapter, this is what we want to do. We want these guys that are in the chapter to have a specific purpose. We want to feel them as a team. We want them to have relation all together. We want them to work together, not just to come there because they have nothing better to do. And the same goes with the recruitment team we have. We don't want our recruiters to be just a bunch of guys asking questions. Like, there's a candidate, all right, you go, here's the list of questions, go ask. No, we want these guys to be the owners of our recruitment process. Their purpose is to improve our recruitment decisions so they are better and better, that we have better candidates and people we hire are the best possible matches to our culture, to the way we work, and actually also with the skills. So I would like to wait a little bit with this mini retro after this level, because level 4 is very much connected with this, and I would like to wrap them both in the same time. So let's say level 3 completed, and let's go to level number 4. And level number 4, I don't know if you see these flying bushes in here. It's the wind of change. So, again, first, a question to make you think. The question is super generic. What is our greatest responsibility as the leaders? Okay, I don't expect an answer because there will be probably as many answers as people in this room. But I want to share with you one answer that particularly I liked. And it was, we should let our teams bloom. And I very much like this metaphor. Because for me, team actually is like a plant. It is like a tree or like a flower. You cannot just buy a flower and tell it, now you grow big and beautiful. It doesn't work that way. You have to water it, you have to put it in a sunny place, and then it grows, and then it becomes beautiful. If you say, now grow, and then just like this, grow faster, it doesn't work. And this is autonomy. This is autonomy, giving away the control, helping, creating the environment, but not telling what to do and how to do. And this is what is essential to have a team. Actually, I believe that without autonomy, we don't have teams. We have just a bunch of people following orders. Nothing more. People have to have the autonomy. People must be able to make the change happen. If they have some purpose, they must be able to make this change. They must be able to make this change on their own conditions. And that's nothing new, because we've learned it, right? Probably everyone here read the Drive book. It was said at least a few times here that autonomy is a great motivator, right? But we've learned it. The problem is that we've learned it on the project's level. We know when we have a team, this team works in a project, we already know that if we tell them what to do, it won't work, so let them do what they want. But everything else is controlled. Now, to make all the people actually succeed, we need to change this a little bit. And remember this, just a few minutes ago I told you that if you start to looking at the groups of people as a teams, you have teams everywhere. And if you have teams everywhere, and autonomy is essential for a team to exist, you need to have this autonomy at all levels. And this is what we are trying to do. I've told you about our recruitment team. We don't want to have just a bunch of people asking questions. We want people to be engaged, to be involved. This picture, by the way, is not here by accident, because actually our recruitment stages are called by color. So we have like green session, red session, blue session. So we want these people to be true owners of our recruitment process. So what it means, they have to be able to make decisions. They have to have this autonomy. If they want to change something in recruitment process, it cannot be like, we have an idea and someone says no. They are the owners. They should be able to experiment, to do some modifications in our recruitment process and verify if this brings more value or was a bad idea and just roll back it. Without any sign-offs, approvals from don't know who, like HR, manager, or whoever there is. Because this will be a lack of autonomy, and these people won't be motivated. They won't be willing to engage. So, if you want to have a team, this team has needs. One of them is obviously an autonomy, but you also need to understand that this team needs time to work together. And this is what we are doing. Our recruitment team has time when they meet, they can discuss feedback from candidates, they can discuss any ideas they have, any issues we have in the recruitment process, and they can propose a change. They propose an experiment, they decide what they want to do, how they want to measure it, what is the time scale, and that's it. If they made such decision, it happened. If we want to treat them as a team, we need this autonomy, we need this time, and even we need this relation. If we are letting our project teams for a team building, we let them have beer together, why not send the recruitment team for a beer? They will be super happy. Every occasion to have a beer together is a good one. So we are doing this because we don't want groups of people, we want teams, because we truly believe that team brings much more value than the group of individuals added up together. The question, does it work again? Does it work? I'm not that long at Ocado. Less than 1.5 years. And I've changed how our recruitment process changed plenty of times. We removed some sessions, we added new ones, we merged some of them. We kind of made them in different order. We are doing plenty of experiments. And now we are in a completely different place than a year ago. And I truly believe that our recruitment process is improving. Why? Because interviewers are not just guys who get list of questions, go somewhere, ask this question and say, okay, this candidate Java, 4 out of 5, this. No. They are the owners of recruitment process, that they can make the change happen. And this is why it's working. Level 4, complete. Time for last one, level 5. And level 5 is a nice, sunny place, good for ending, good for slowing down, right? And I called this level openness is happiness. Please raise your hand. How many of you are familiar with open source initiative? Most of you, all of you. That's great. So how does open source work? First thing, everything is public, right? All the source code is there in the internet. You can download it, use it, and do it for free, which is strange. And it's like that. The second rule of open source is anyone can contribute to anything. Public, free, anyone can do whatever they want. Madness. But somehow that works. And somehow it works pretty well. So, what are the key secrets that open source work from organizational perspective? Why it happens? Well, first of all, open source is based on the wisdom of the crowd. It's using wisdom of the crowd. We have to admit it to ourselves. Everyone, actually. We are not the smartest people on this planet. I know it's tempting to think so, but we are not the smartest people on this planet. Probably there is someone smarter with better ideas. And open source works like that. I create a tool, I create some software, I share it, and other people can review it, can make it better, can improve it, they can contribute. They can say, oh, I would like to see this change, it will be better, and just create this change and add it. Wisdom of the crowd is making open source tool useful, secure, and so on and so on. And there is the second thing, why open source is growing, why it's popular and how it works, and its sense of ownership. If there is even huge open source project, I don't know, like Spring. I don't know if you're familiar with Spring, but this is huge in Java world. So we have something like Spring, a huge project, and someone even makes a smallest contribution to this project, suddenly, Spring is his project. It's my child. This guy has this feeling, this sense of ownership. He becomes co-owner, co-author of this solution. And what it gives him, he's involved, he's engaged, he's motivated to contribute more. Because this is his. He has the personal relation with this particular product. And now I have a question. Why I'm talking about open source? And this is a tricky question. Well, how about open sourcing our culture? How about open sourcing the culture in our organizations? Can you imagine this? Everything is public. Everyone can contribute to anything they want. Now this is madness. With software, it somehow would work, but this is madness. And to be honest, we are not there with my organization. We are not there. We are making steps, and I want to tell you what are these steps toward this direction, but we are not there yet. Maybe we'll never be, but we're trying. Because I remember when I was in some previous organizations, I know what people are saying when they come from different organizations, and we shared some knowledge, shared some experiences. How are the big decisions made in many organizations? The big decisions. Big decisions can be only made by a big boss. That's the guy who is so smart that he will make the best possible decision. And then again, he comes to the team and says, that's my decision. You can say thank you now. But sometimes it's not the best decision. Very often it's not the best decision because this is just one guy. Plus, potentially, he doesn't know everything. He doesn't know what's happening with the team, what the people think. And there is a second thing about big decisions. Well, these bosses, these big bosses with cigar in the office doing nothing all day, I don't think they exist. I've learned when I became a manager, I've learned that managers are actually pretty busy. There's so many things going on in organizations that we are so busy. There are meetings, we have to talk with people, take care. This is our great responsibility to look after people. There is like, I don't know, something's happening, you need to organize a conference, for example, some budgets, pay rises. There are plenty of things. And other important decisions can be potentially very much delayed because we as managers or leaders, we don't have enough time. And at every leadership training, which as was already mentioned by Dave, we can throw them to the trash, they give you a solution for this. If you don't have enough time, you delegate. But how does delegation connect to open source? It has nothing in common. How does open source work? First, wisdom of the crowd. If I delegate some decision to someone else, this is still one person who is making the decision. If even it's a group of 2 or 3 people, this is still some narrow group. They try to make the decision, but they have a limited amount of information. So this has nothing to do with the open source. The second thing of open source, sense of ownership. If I will give you something to do, you won't treat this as your work. This is work for this guy. This is his. I just have to do it because he made me, and then I can go home. It's not mine. So open source, which is using wisdom of a crowd, is using the sense of ownership. It has nothing to do with delegation, and we want to go towards the open source. And what we started at Ocado is actually something which Kate was talking about already. It's working groups. Working groups, which we also try to treat as a team. If there is a decision to be made, we don't make the decision in the team of the management team, however you call it. By the way, also our management team, we try to treat it as a team. Build a relation between us so we can work together as a team, not just like managers who are responsible for their areas and talk once a week. So we created these working groups. We announce that there is a decision to be made. There is something that needs to be improved. There is some issue that needs to be solved. So what we do, we introduce this and say, we are creating a working group. We are looking for the best possible solution for this issue, for this problem, for this situation, whatever you call it. And everyone is welcome. If you are a junior who is with us for a month, if you are a senior that's been with us for the last 10 years, please come. If you are a manager, please come. If you are a software ninja who is fixing our servers and no one knows how, please come. If you feel if you feel that you can contribute, if you feel that you can bring something to the table, please come and share. Share your thoughts. Get engaged. And we are pretty serious about that. Because you may say that, okay, but probably this guy is telling, like, they're giving some decisions to the people. Probably those are the stupid decisions, small ones that no one has time for it. Well, actually, no, because if I show you some examples of what our working groups are doing. One of them is something which we call career paths. We got feedback from our people that career paths at Ocado are not that clear. They don't know if they are progressing, they don't know if they are growing. And this is an issue. So we gathered a working group, which have representatives from all locations, from different, let's say, roles. We have developers, product owners, people from operations. And we want to solve it. If they are willing to add new roles, why not? If they will decide to abandon all the labels, it's possible. So you see, this is not a small change, because this decision can possibly completely change the organization and the way it works. The same thing is, for example, with on-call support. Well, our supermarket, Ocado.com, it works 24-hour a day. And you can get a call in the middle of the night that something is broken down. It's broken, so you need to fix it. And this is obviously causing frustration, because everyone likes to sleep, yeah? So we created an open group in our 2 Polish offices that actually is trying to figure out a better solution that we have right now. So the business needs for support are there, are fulfilled. People are happier and not frustrated, and is a better solution. And obviously it's according to the law, because things like that are regulated by labor law. And whatever they find the best solution, we will try to implement it. The same thing we do for feedback for pay review. We noticed that giving feedback, peer feedback, is not giving the manager enough information to make fair decisions about salaries. We need to do it somehow better, because then we have to still go and talk with people, and maybe we can improve the feedback people are giving to themselves and use it. And now our people are trying to figure out how it's done, and this will affect them very much. Their solution will affect how they will be getting their pay raises. So those decisions are quite big. So again, does it work? Yes. Because looking at these working groups, when I see how people are engaged, they have the binds, they are engaged, they are involved, they want to contribute, they want to attend this working group, they want to share their thoughts. What it gives us, again, when a decision is made, people have the buy-in to this decision. Because it's not from somewhere, it's kind of theirs. If they don't want to contribute, that's fully fine. If they trust that this group will make the best decision, that's okay. They will have to live with that decision. But they have their chance to speak up, to tell how they think it should be done. And the question for everything I've said is, does it all work? Because I've shared with you some 5 practices we are doing, and does it all work? And should I actually reply with a mem or just say yes? Then yes. Yes, they work. Because if you find a common denominator for all these things we are doing, it's autonomy, it's trust, it's giving people the purpose. Those are motivators from the drive. Those are motivators that we've heard about today at least few times. And those are practices, those are real things that are making these values, these ideas like trust, like autonomy, like purpose, they make it real. This is not just words on paper. Those are real practices that encourage these values in the organization. So, you can say that this all costs. And I will say, yeah, it does. Taking 20 people to an interview, yeah, it costs. Taking one person and sending this person for a day to ride a van in England, it costs. But the cost of hiring wrong manager is far bigger. This person who we sent on job swap, if he learns the business, understands how company works, he has the purpose, he's more motivated, will stay with us for years, for example, and with understanding how business works, he can propose yet better ideas and change and improve our organization. So it requires a lot of trust, not necessarily the money. It's not super expensive. It requires a lot of trust, but people are really, really good, and it's worth to trust them. So our last level, I think we can say we did complete it. But I want to share with you some final thought. We completed the game. It's done. Do we get a trophy? Did we win? Building organization is not a game. This is serious stuff. We work with people who have emotions and have feelings, and we need to be very careful. And I wouldn't say ever it's a game. I would say this building organization, again, a metaphor that I very much like and enjoy, is that it's a journey. We are walking with all these people together, and we are trying to find the perfect place. The place where everyone is happy, the teams are super efficient, they do all their work perfect, organization earns that amount of money. This is our journey. And you know what? Our goal as leaders is to help these people find this perfect place, not to tell them where it is. We walk with them, but they know better where it is. We are just one leader, plenty of people. One mind with ideas, a lot of minds with better ideas, possibly. Help them to walk, help them to pass this journey, and they will take you to the greatest place that you can never, ever imagine. And this is what I wish you, and obviously myself. And when you are in this place, then you truly, truly win. And you get a trophy. Thank you very much.
It was very inspiring to listen to you.
Oh, thank you.
Listening to you speaking about hiring and firing. Tomek, you know so much about these things. You're so knowledgeable. Tell me how large group of people, let's call them the American people, can select a manager to a super important position whose whole life is organized around you are fired.
I don't get the question.
Okay. Yeah, it's a totally hypothetical question. Guy is a genius or a genie.
I need to, calm down a little bit.
Let's see a more clear question. I'm wondering how drivers do coding when you are swapping with them. I was actually thinking about trying coding myself too. That'd be a pretty awful decision.
Well, drivers don't come to the developers and do coding, but they do come to us. They do come to our office and they see how we are working on applications.
So only you get the fun part, to get to be a trucker. They don't get to be a coder.
Well, for us, the fun part is to driving. For them, the fun part is not driving for a day and go to the office when there's like a free coffee and first world problems. My seat is too tight, something like this. So for them, it's also the opportunity. They are telling us what they need. They are teaching us. They are telling what they expect. But on the same time, they see how we work. And they see, oh, this is, for example, stupid. Why you do this? We don't need that. So those job swaps kind of work in both ways.
So they actually do?
Yeah, they visit us and see how programmers work on an everyday basis.
Wow. Are you saying that people can ask tough questions for their wannabe superiors? No later revenge?
No. No later revenge. They can ask questions as they want, no revenge. It was nicely said that there are values. I think Jürgen said that there are values and people don't even remember it. Well, actually, we have values. There's 5 of them, and I do remember them, but mainly because we try to live them. And I can go to any of my supervisors and tell him, dude, what are you doing? This violates autonomy. Why are you doing this? And there will be no revenge, I hope. I did it a few times, and I'm still there.
But those people that you are team hiring, and then they are asking questions of someone who has not been hired yet, but will be. Mm-hmm. Can those questions be tough, really?
Oh, on the team interview.
Yeah.
They are tough. These people are hiring their boss. They like, this discussion is hard. But if the guy passes this, the team loves him. And we have first hires like this. We have also feedback that these team interviews are not very good because how can developers know what to expect from manager? And usually this feedback is from candidates that were rejected. So it kind of tells us that, yeah, this was a good decision, and team felt that this guy may be not the best choice.
Yeah, there was a question just 1 sec ago. Mm-hmm. which was something like, what if the team wants someone but you don't like them, and then they say you overruled them but they liked someone?
Well, this is a matter of trust. Team can convince us, or the people who are later on checking the skills of this person, that the team liked the guy. And on the other hand...
They can or they will?
Well, there's like two parts, I would say. The classic part, when the candidate for a manager is being interviewed by other managers, and we check his skill set, his leadership skills, his soft skills. And there's this team interview when we check if this guy simply, the people like him and they want to work with him. And if he passed the team interview, but later on he doesn't have the skill, we talk with the team and tell them, hey, this guy wasn't good enough. He was cool. We can go with him for a beer, but we don't necessarily want him to be your boss. And the other way around, if we think that someone is good and he was not liked by the team, that didn't happen actually. People have like perfect sense. They have amazing sense. Usually when the team is no, then later on it turns out, because we have team interview and then have some other interviews, like 1 or 2. It usually is that if team felt that this guy is no, after the following interviews is usually also the same. People have a great sense.
Is it better to hire a new manager rather than promote a team member as the manager?
The answer is no. I think it's always better to promote someone from the inside than take someone from the outside, because this person is there, he understands the culture, he understands how the company is doing, and it's worth investing in this person. Even if he's not the best in skill set, it's worth investing because we know this guy. Someone from the external, we don't know nothing about him. We can make some interviews, but this is not the same as working with this person for a long time. So when we are hiring someone, we are super kind of expecting really amazing skills because we are simply buying these skills from the market. Internally, we know something about this person. The most important, we know his mindset, we know how he fits the culture. So we have the 2 biggest risks covered. And skills, we can work on that.
And even with the internal people, you do the team interviews with promotion?
Yes, actually, I didn't start as dev manager at Ocado. I started as a team leader, and I was promoted to dev manager role. And actually, I was talking with groups, and my team, actually, they on their own kind of asked if I want to become a dev manager. So there was this buy-in from all the places, from other managers, from other team leads, from the team. So it wasn't like, I now want to be a manager. I talk with my supervisor, and he says, okay, you know this and this and this, you're good to go. No, I was having the same interviews with the team.
Thank you. It was wonderful. Here's you as a drawing.
Thank you very much.
I give you your present.
Yay. Thank you very much.
Let's have your picture taken.